Warning, what you will see in the movie Pieces cannot be revealed, cannot be described, cannot even be imagined. And you don't have to go to Texas for a chainsaw massacre. Pieces, it's exactly what you think it is. Pieces. Absolutely no one under 17 will be admitted.
Hi, huge movie fanatic Nate, returning yet again, continuing my fall season of 2014 spooktacular horror movie reviews. And with this particular review, I'm going to review Pieces. It's exactly what you think it is. That's kind of like one of the taglines. It also has a tagline, you don't have to go to Texas for a chainsaw massacre. As well. And I think this review is actually going to be a Pieces/DVD review, because in 2000, I don't know what it was, this particular DVD in 2008, Grindhouse Releasing put out this relatively fantastic DVD of the movie. I don't think it's on Blu-ray. I mean, if it is, I don't have it. So this is the one I rewatched, the one I own and rewatched. So I'm going to review the movie and, of course, that very first DVD review of a movie, because I don't think it's on Blu-ray, and if it is, I don't have it. So, Pieces, 1983. I grew up with this. I very first saw this movie probably in 1990. There was this fantastic, there's all kinds of mom and pop video stores open at the time, and I was 13, and I was, of course, just continuing. I had just gotten into horror like a year or so ago at the time, a year and a half ago, and I was just like catching up on all the years I had missed on everything. And you know, there was this so many movies, so many slasher movies, so little time. There was a number at the time of independent mom and pop video stores, and one in particular that had been probably open since the very first years and months of video stores, which had so many obscure titles and all this and that, and it was just amazing to. I wish I had like video or photos or something of some of these stores. This one in particular that was just amazing, and I think the particular store was called Video Vision, and it was relatively close. And you know, at the time when I was 13, I was going there, and of course pretty much the section I head to was just the horror section. And then at the time, I do have the VHS of the original Vestron Video VHS. At the time, this is the cover in 1990 that I saw on the shelf at the, I think Video Vision was the name of the video store, mom and pop. And I was like, wow, what's it say? Yeah, on the top it says you don't have to go to Texas for a chainsaw massacre. And it says Best Special Effects Horror Film Festival, whatever the hell that means. But this is the original 1984 Vestron Video VHS release of this particular title, Pieces. Pieces. It's exactly what you think it is. So this is the box that lured me in as a 13-year-old horror fan, a growing horror fan, of course, loving Texas Chainsaw Massacre and being 13 and loving power tools and stuff. And of course the title says Chainsaw Massacre, the box says Chainsaw Massacre on the box. So my dad, being just the wonderful dad he was, just said 13's old enough for this movie that says no one under 17 admitted. I mean, it doesn't say that on the box, I don't think, but what do they say? What this is? Yeah, I mean, it says unrated on it. So Pieces, I mean, hell, it's, like it says, it's exactly what you think it is. And this is exactly, Pieces for me is one of the best examples of just absolute exploitation horror, and both just like women, not that there's a lot of naked women, but just the way women are portrayed in this kind of, whatever you want to call it, just sex object fashion. And there's this Kendall, this rootin' tootin', whatever the hell he is, college guy who just screws girls right and left, and everyone wants to screw Kendall and all this and that. And you got his nerdy ass friend who I don't know if his name is ever mentioned, but whatever. He's too young to die. That's what he says. So So this is a movie that I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I think it was mostly like a Spanish production, like a Spanish slash American production. You know how like Italian horror would come to New York and whatever and do some, like Lucio Fulci and stuff would come do, like, I don't know, Italian slash American productions where they'd have some American actors in them. This is kind of, as far as I know, I mean, if I'm wrong, that's fine. I didn't have time to search up all the info, but as far as I know, it's like a Spanish American production that was shot in, part of it was Boston, USA, and then I think it said part of it was Madrid, Spain. So this movie is actually kind of like a Spanish horror movie as opposed to, like, Italian horror, and it definitely feels it. It doesn't feel like just an American horror movie. And this movie, just like Graduation Day and so many others, and even like Italian horror, features the wonderful genre favorite Christopher George, and actually his wife Linda Day George, although she's only billed Linda Day in this particular movie. And Christopher George is just fantastic and just like dumb detective. I mean, it's not one of his better roles. I mean, I really like him in Graduation Day, but he's serviceable, and his cop partner, whatever, is something. So the movie basically starts with, in 19 whatever the hell it is, 42 or whatever, in Boston, this kid is putting together this puzzle, and the mom comes in and she's like, oh, what a great son, he's putting together a puzzle, and she has a closer look, and it's like this naked picture of this naked girl puzzle, and she just pisses her all off, and she's just obviously abusive to this kid, and she's just like smacking him, and he's just like, very pissed off that her son is straight, apparently. But very pissed off that her son is putting together a puzzle of a naked girl, and she's like, go get a plastic bag so I can trash this stuff. And the kid goes away, and she goes through the toy box, and there's gotta be more around here, something. And she's just looking for more porn to throw out, and I guess probably just a religious mom or something like that. And the kid comes back within a few moments and just hacks mom not to bits, but hacks mom's head very graphically and violently in this particular opening scene, and she falls down dead. And someone shows up, and no one's answering the door, and the people are calling the phone, and meanwhile the kid takes just like a wood saw, a saw that you use to cut wood or whatever, and he's like sawing up mom. And what's cool is, you don't see it, so you can only imagine what the hell he's doing, which kind of makes it a little more creepy. It's just like, and this kid's just got this expression, and this is the movie opens with this absolutely just horrific, like you'd never see it now, unfortunately. Like this kid hacking moms to death in the head and cutting up mom and stuff. It's I can't stress how much this movie, it might be one of my top, like if I was going to show like a horror movie virgin, like, okay, the horror movie virgin just wants to cut, hasn't seen any horror movies, wants to cut right to the chase and just see what, is the most, just exploitative, horror movie there is. I mean, I haven't seen every horror movie, but from what I can think of, this is surely one of the most exploitation-ish, just in your face, like, holy cow, horror movies that I can think of. And then we cut to like 40 years later, and we see presumably the killer, having killed his mom, just these gloved hands and dark gloves, pulling out the clothes, and the picture of her crossed off. It's probably just the actress's headshot, by the way. That picture, I think it's supposed to be a picture of mom with the red, X mark across her face. And then we cut to this weird scene which has nothing to do with anything, which makes no sense. Where all of a sudden, this first victim, this girl, is just going through college campus, like outdoors on a skateboard, and it's just like, and it's stupid music, and do 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 do. Down, 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 bow, wow, wow. And she's just going like, hi, how you doing? And just skateboarding through, and never like touching the ground. It's just like, this whole campus must be on an incline. Anyway, this scene is so ridiculous, it doesn't last very long. All of a sudden there's these guys with a big huge mirror that are like pulling it out of a truck, and they pull it around this mirror coming around the corner, like, and then she's like skateboarding on it's just the sidewalk, and she skateboards like right into the mirror. You can see the editor's really screwed up, because you can see the actress stop just before she stopped just a hair too soon before she disappeared behind the mirror, but the editor screwed up and left that in and didn't cut before she, actually stopped and whatever. But so it's just like she's supposed to have ran into the mirror, and it's just like it just, and it just a flashback to 40 years ago when the killer's mom smashed the mirror, and it just makes no sense because the killer's in the house looking at this stuff, so how would he know that this mirror is broke? It's just the weirdest scene ever. When I up until when I recently rewatched it, I always thought that particular character, that girl, died right there. But then having rewound it, I think it's the girl who dies moments later, the first victim by chainsaw, who's like supposed to be like studying or whatever out on the grass, and she's got the dress pulled all the way up to her ass. She's like, she's just doing this, pretending to do the studying, and this guy in like a freaking muffler and what's it called, that thing you put around your, you wrap around your neck? Is that I think it's a muffler, and just goggles and just all of this to cover up his face. And she's like, hey, you're gonna be long, go leave somewhere else. And it's just like, just a few minutes, miss. This guy is just all bundled up in a coat and all this stuff, and just a couple seconds later he comes in and saws her head off. So, okay, that I can't do a play-by-play, otherwise this review is going to be way too long. But this movie's fantastic. It was absolutely exactly what I hoped it would be, and it says right on the back, it's exactly what you think it is, and it was correct. I mean, the Pieces is literally, and before I end about the movie, I will just briefly say that the whole premise of the movie is pretty, and this is pretty fantastic in a horror movie, exploitation movie way, and this is an perfect example of one of the many ways this is just a phenomenal, poster child for just one of the most phenomenal exploitation movies there is the whole premise of the movie is this kid, was basically at the beginning of the movie putting together this puzzle, this naked woman, and his mom came in and screwed that up and threw the puzzle away, although he does have it as an adult because he spends the movie putting it together. But the puzzle as an adult 40 years later is not nearly as good. He, for whatever reason now, he puts the head on, which tells the audience, okay, I'm going to go cut off a girl's head and bring it home and collect it. And then we see him put, on the puzzle, a torso, of this naked picture he had when he was a kid, which means he's going to go out and saw up a girl and take home her torso. And then he'll put this scene, which takes way too long, and they should have found a way to cut around it. But anyway, he's putting this poor guy who's playing the killer's gloved hands, is got these gloves on. He's trying to put this piece of the puzzle together with these two arms, which is probably like, I don't know, 5 or 6 pieces, and he can't barely do it with these damn gloves on. The very last piece, he was just, I don't know, he could barely get in there, and it's just like, come on, you damn puzzle, get the hell in there. So there's the longest puzzle scene is the one where he puts both arms on. It takes like, I don't know, it seems like 60 seconds or something. It seems like it takes forever. They should have cut around it, but the very last piece he could barely get in there, and it's just like kind of comedic. But the movie is basically about this killer sawing up, I guess he wants to recreate his mom or something, I don't know, so he can put, he can piece by piece, head, torso, arms, legs, and then feet, piece by piece make a girl and sew her together so he can recreate mom, kind of like Psycho, I guess, and put the corpse, the sewed together corpse, in mom's dress and shoes. And like I say, just a horrific idea in general, and then gorehounds and exploitation fans would just flock to this. And obviously, if you haven't seen it and you're interested in just experiencing these early 80s, just like Spanish/American collaboration, just exploitation. In my opinion, from what I've seen a lot of horror movies. I mean, just one of the most exploitation, just kind of trash, and I will say like exploitative trash movies there are out there. But I'm gonna go 3 stars on Pieces. I think as a slasher movie fan, and movies with Linda Day George and Christopher George in it and stuff, and obviously just like interested in college/high school just slasher movies in early 80s and Chainsaw and stuff. Oh, it also features this guy. There's several red herrings in the movie. It's cool that it doesn't just do one. There's all kinds of them, And there's this guy who I'm pretty sure played Brutus from the Popeye movie with Robin Williams in it. I'm pretty sure if he didn't play okay, I can do this. If he didn't play Brutus, he should have. But I think you know, back when I got the DVD, I don't know. I think I looked at making of or something, and I think the guy, this really big bruiser who's in this movie, did play Brutus in the Popeye movie. But it's absolutely like perfection, like by the numbers in the best way possible of just this, you know, just this exploitation, horror, slasher, trash movie with just the most cliched, lame dialogue and characters. And since the movie's like a Spanish production, it's all dubbed in English. Like, you know, Christopher George and Linda Day George like do their own voices for the dub, but it's all like just dubbed, you know. I imagine it's a mishmash of. I imagine the rest of the actors are like Spanish actors or whatever. But this is just out of nowhere. Just you have no idea what to expect next. And you know the killer is so cool because it's like the Shadow. You know, the comic book character, the Shadow. Because in the scene when he kills, he you know, his costume is like a black trench coat and a hat. In the scene where he kills a girl in the pool, it's just really lit in a really cool way. Where it's just like. Ever since I first saw it, I was like, the killer's so cool because as he's portrayed throughout the movie, which is just dark shadows and, you know, silhouettes of the killer and stuff, and the hat I just thought was really cool, being a fan at that time and even now as well, just are interested in the 30s and the 40s. So that oldish hat, you know, just like it looked like the Shadow, and was just kind of a cool way to present the killer throughout the whole movie, is this darkly shrouded apparition, and there's just really a bunch of cool. I really like the scene as well where that reporter goes into the room and with the waterbed, you know, and you know, the killer for whatever reason switches out the chainsaw for this particular kill and uses like a big butcher knife. The credits are cool with just this butcher knife, you know, this drawing of this butcher knife on the side of the screen, and the you know, the font is all like blood red, you know, blood dripping letters and stuff. And the music for the American version, I haven't watched. This DVD actually, I think, contains the Spanish audio, which apparently has a whole different bunch of music, which, you know, I'm of course really not interested in that, because I want the version that I grew up with, which is the American version. But the American version with music by CAM, C-A-M, is just like, the music is just great and reminds you of, you know, the Italian horror stuff. And 3 stars, I can't, you know, praise, and yes, I admit it's just like horror movie, you know, it's just horror movie exploitation trash. I'm fully aware of that, but just in the best way possible. One of my only complaints is perhaps, you know, maybe not enough tits, maybe not enough nice tits, but there are like a couple naked girls in the movie briefly, but maybe it could have been a few more tits. So on to the review of the Grindhouse releasing DVD, to this DVD from 2008. I was really excited when this came out because up until then there had been this stupid bootleg DVD that unfortunately I got, which is of course just like a VHS rip, if you can rip VHS, a VHS transfer or whatever. And I just rewatched this last night, and it says new high-definition anamorphic digital restoration of the original uncensored version. I can confirm that it is the, you know, same cut from the original Vestron tape. There's nothing cut out that I saw as far as gore and stuff. It says optional Spanish soundtrack with original score by, I can't say that name. One of the coolest things about this DVD, and it's just unbelievable, it's a fantastic idea, is that it has an audio track that was recorded apparently at the Vine Theater in Hollywood in 2002, I believe, when there was a showing of this movie. So you can experience this movie with an optional audio track with a whole audience.
The most beautiful thing in the world is smoking pot and fucking on the waterbed.
And that is phenomenal, because it's like, you know, you don't have to go to the theater to see this, because you can experience the theater you know, experience on the DVD.
You see it?
Yes! While we were out here fumbling with that music, the lousy bastard was in there killing her! Bastard! Bastard! Bastard!
He cut that poor girl in half while she was still alive. You have any idea the terror that kid went through? She was still alive, for Christ's sakes.
I know, Lieutenant, I know. But I'm doing the best I can. If I go too fast, I might miss something.
You just gotta give me more time.
You don't have any more time. Take some uppers or something. Just give me a lead. Anything.
What I need is some help. I've been going 23 hours straight. But my eyes can't take it any longer. I'll do my best.
And when I saw that, you know, on here, and when I heard that, I'm like, oh my God, what a great idea, you know? I mean, I can't believe more, you know, more releases don't do that. But I just watched the movie last night. I didn't look at the second disc or anything, but I did watch some of the, you know, on some of the things that I remember there were big laughs. I switched the audio to the theater version just to hear some of the laughs and stuff. That you know, Vine Theater, is that what it is? Vine Theater Experience track is just amazing and such a great idea. So obviously I would recommend, like I say, I don't know if it's on Blu-ray, I don't think it is, but if it is, I don't have it. But I would highly recommend, obviously, this version, which is anamorphic, widescreen, and came out in 2008. So that's my review of Pieces, and also the Pieces 2008 Grindhouse releasing DVD. It's a double disc set, and one of the really cool things is, this is a really great release actually. One of the really cool things, I was looking at this last night, which is like just a little booklet, you know, a booklet with, oops, that's a naked woman, I can't show that, but just, you know, says stuff. But the coolest thing in the world is you open this up, and I was like, wow, you should have seen my reaction. Check this out. Like a recreation of the poster. So that's really cool. So highly recommended. Obviously, if you want to see a fantastic exploitation, just goofball, you know, movie, I'm really grateful to Grindhouse Releasing for putting that movie out in that anamorphic, you know, anamorphic treatment. So I guess that pretty much does it. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, I will catch you on the next movie review.
Don't brood over it, kid. Let's go.
Hey, my jacket.